Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me, Danielle, at all? Let me know if you can hear me. There seems to be a bit of a delay. You can hear me though, right? Okay, there's definitely a delay. I'm not sure why that is, but at least we got this part working. So I'm pretty excited about that. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Please type your name in the chat. Let me know where you're from. You may or may not be from Pontiac. Let us know in the chat, please. So there's somewhat of a delay. I don't know why I'm typing. I forgot I turned the mic on. There's somewhat of a delay because I'm actually watching it on my phone too to make sure everything is fine. So there is somewhat of a delay, but that's okay. We can work with it. Kids First Initiative from Pontiac. What is your alias? What is your alias? So I see D Brown. Thank you, Danielle, for coming in tonight. And there are some more on the live too, but I cannot see them as of yet. I just see numbers, but that's cool. That's cool. Hum is your name. This guy. Hum is your name. Hum. I guess that's all right too. So listen, let me know what you all think about the new format. What do you think? What do you think about what you're looking, what you're seeing? I've been trying to use this for quite some time, so I'm kind of excited. What do you think about this new format? Yeah, you better get one of them. Get you an alias. So listen, I am so happy that you all are here tonight. We're gonna go ahead and get going. Let me know. Type in the chat because there is a delay. So type in the chat and let me know what you think about the new format, or the overlays and things that you see. I am using a new program. Yes, Danielle said very cool. I am using a new program and I plan to use I'm going to keep on trying to make it do what it do. And my next step is to get us to add a piece where we can actually take phone calls and I can hear your voices over the line. Please do me a favor as we're getting started by sharing the chat, please. I mean, sharing the stream. Share the stream with some folk that you know might be interested in sharing this time with us, who are opinionated and have a lot to say, because them the folk that we want to deal with, the ones that got a whole lot to say. Excuse me for a second. I'm setting up Instagram Live to get some of those folk over here too, so we can get going. So tonight we're dealing with three topics, of course. And some of you, I'm looking at some of you that are here who I know were not here last year. So you missed when we had the conversation um titled Mind Fucked, and what it meant, what it felt like, what it be like to be mind fucked. And in other words, that meant to have someone to play with your mind, and so some manipulative person to be so manipulative, so good at it, so good at being manipulative, so um, possibly narcissistic that you couldn't tell your head from your ass. You know that you were just, you got to a place where you started second guessing every step that you took, every thought that you made, because the person was so slippery, so narcissistic that's how they made you feel. So that whole discussion, I see Soggy Paws coming in. Hey, Soggy Paws, what's going on? Tell me what you think about the new format that you are looking at right now. This is what I have been working on for weeks and couldn't get it going for you last week. I see several more people coming in. Please do me a favor and check in. Just give us a alias or your name and where you're where you're coming from. I know, but listen, I'm looking at kids KFI that said I definitely need an alias big time. That's why some folk got one just so they can say what they wanted to say. But don't worry about it. I ain't gonna call your name. So if they don't know who you are, I ain't gonna tell them who you are. So we had a whole discussion. If you are on Instagram, come on and follow us over here on YouTube. I have a I have a I have a goal of 1,000 subscribers before I go to Gambia in February so that I can record from my phone. Soggy Paws, you said, what do you mean? What do I mean by what? Um, Let me know. Give me the question because I missed it. But KFI, excuse me, we won't say your name if we don't know. If no one knows you, we won't tell them who you are. So anyway, the whole conversation was about being mind fucked. And a lot of information came up, a lot of thoughts and ideas that that really, that really got us to thinking about what it was to be mind fucked and how many of us have been mind fucked. We said that too. Many of us have been mind fucked. But there were some other things that came up in that idea, the idea of being mind fucked, that I want to discuss. So we're going to deal with that right now. Add that to the screen. Hopefully you'll, there it is. Okay, so we add that to the screen. Wrong topic. Let me get back out of that. We want to go ahead and deal with being mind fucked, part 2, right? So we'll get rid of this one and let's go with this one. All right, mind fucked reloaded. And some questions came up, right? After that discussion, that whole discussion, because I mean, we had lists. We had a list of things where people Soggy Paw said, what's the new format? Can you see the overlay? You see well, there was some more stuff before you came in, but can you see the frame around my face? And can you see the icon in the corner? Let me know. And then there's some more to come and some more that I put on before, but really I'm talking about overlay. Maybe I shouldn't say format, but overlay. Let me know if you see the overlay. Soggy Paws. So there was a lot of information that came up about some conversation that came from that discussion. So it made me think about some more questions that I might have, and so that is what I want to deal with today. So let me pull up some thoughts that I actually put in my folder from the conversation that I had earlier this week about being mind fucked. So if you all just give me 1 second, I'll be able to pull those up. Let me see. Please tell me I didn't get rid of the questions. I think I did get rid of the questions, but okay, I can remember something anyway. So the first question came this way. Okay, so Soggy Paw says, yes, I see the tan frame and words. I see the logo too. Get perfect. Then that means you'll see the other stuff that I'm going to put up a little later on. But here was the question. A lot of people said, or several of us, this came up in the list of things that, well, narcissist. We talked about this. Somebody said the narcissist typically search for people that are weak. And that brought on a whole new discussion afterwards, after party kind of discussion I had with a couple people. So my question for you is this. Here's the question, or this is the thought I want to deal with right now. We know that narcissistic types or mind fuckers are looking for decent people, no doubt about that. Because they have to have decent people to do what they want to do, right? To um it's almost like a leech. They need decent people from which they can pull from, they can take from, they can live off of, right? So my question to you is everybody that is targeted by a narcissist or a narcissistic person weak? Can they be considered weak? Is everybody, so that's the question, is everybody who is targeted by a narcissist weak? And if they are, tell me about it. If yes, tell me why. And if not, tell me why not. Tell me why it doesn't take a weak person to be targeted by a narcissist or a mind fucker, because it's the same thing. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. I'm looking to hear from you. Is the person who is targeted by the narcissist, is that a weak person or not necessarily? Is that person always considered a weak soul or not? If you say, yeah, those who are targeted by narcissists are weak, then tell me why that is. I see Tanya Wallace. Tanya Wallace, I've been missing you, girl. Hey, I've been missing you. I'm glad that you came on tonight. I am glad that you're here. I really do miss seeing you, and I miss being able to hug your neck at Yaktown Poets. I really do. I really do. So thank you for coming. Thank you. We are talking about narcissists tonight. This is the second piece of that's how I'm calling it Mind Fucked Reloaded, because we dealt with being mind fucked the last week. So just kind of give you a little bit of recap for those of you, and I still see more people coming in. Oh, good. Okay, so you're not working. Well, I'm glad you missed me too. That make me feel special. So let me just recap a little bit. We talked last week about the fact that most of us have been mind fucked before. And when we say mind fucking or being mind fucked, it had to do with being manipulated by someone who was so good at manipulation that it made you second guess who you were. It made you second guess your thoughts. Almost like, kind of reminds me when Eddie Murphy did, I think it was Raw, and he was talking about how men get over on women so bad that you can see them coming, you can see them in the bed with another woman. And if that nigga say to you, it wasn't me, you get to thinking, well, maybe it wasn't you. And the reason being is because he's so manipulative. He's so good at being a manipulator, a mind fucker. He is such a narcissist or has narcissistic behaviors and attitudes that he is able to put it on you so bad in your head, or she in your head, that you can't think straight. And that discussion came from something that we talked about, that we saw on YouTube. Actually, it was a pastor who got into a tiff with some woman. It was horrible. He married her, but when he got through talking about what all she'd done to him, or at least that's the way he said it, what all she'd done to him, he said, she has fucked my mind. I am mind fucked. And I thought, yeah, you really are mind fucked, right? You really are. And that's what brought on the whole discussion. So we're coming back to that today because there was some discussion that went on between me and a couple other people after the live last week. And so the question came up because someone said it in the chat. They said, narcissists or mind fuckers look for weak people. So my question to you is, Is every woman or man who's targeted by a mind fucker, is that person a weak soul? That's my question. Um, okay, so Soggy Paws has an answer. She says they're more likely to give them what they need, which is the confirmation they desire. Okay. So she's saying, I think your point is, Soggy Paws, that that weak people are more likely to give the narcissist what they need, which is the confirmation they desire. Is that what you're saying? Um, Soggy Paws, let me know. I see Danielle respond, and Danielle says, "No, they are not weak." Soggy Paws, please let me know which if I had that correctly, if I restated that correctly. And then she said, "Yes, I did." Okay. And then Danielle said, "No, they are not weak." If they are not weak, Danielle, tell me why they are not weak. She said, so Danielle is saying that those who are targeted by narcissists aren't necessarily, they aren't weak. Explain that to me, Tanya, please. Danielle. Tanya says, "I think we attract a little bit of who we are." Mm, that's good. That's good. Tanya says she thinks that we attract a little bit of who we are. It, elaborate on that, please, Tanya. Tell me what you mean by that. Although I think I agree with it, but just give me a little something. Tell me what you mean by that. Instagram, we are on YouTube, right? And we are on YouTube on in the Wednesday night live topics, tantrums, and tea. We are under VBTouray on YouTube. Come on over and join the discussion. I would love for you to do that. Let me see who that is. Oh, that's Dooley. Dooley, get your ass over here on YouTube. Why is you on Instagram? Why is you on Instagram? Come home. Come home. So you can get in the conversation. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Tanya, yeah, I really want to talk more about that. Tanya said, "I think we attract a little bit of who we are." Soggy Paw said, "I don't think they're always weak. They are the yin to their yang." Mm. Yeah, I want to highlight some of these. I wish I could highlight them because I want to make sure I come back to them. Um, Danielle says, "Politicians and preachers and other emotional vampires." She said emotional vampires. You preaching tonight. She said, "Politicians, preachers, and other emotional vampires target entire communities." That's good. The best ones are so good, you'll never know they're abusing and manipulating you. Girl, she said politicians and preachers and other emotional vampires target entire communities. The best ones are so good, you'll never know they're abusing and manipulating you. And if that's the case, I love that. And that's in response to D saying they're not weak, that those who are targeted are not necessarily weak. I love that, Danielle. That's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. Politicians and preachers and other emotional vampires target entire communities. So it doesn't matter how weak or strong you are, because they'll take the whole shebang. And we all know there's a whole lot of that going on in a whole lot of places. So amen to that, Danielle. I agree to that 100%. 100%. Soggy Paw said they feed off each other. Some folks like being controlling, others like being controlled. That's good. That's that yin to yang thing. And I think you're right about that too. Because what it reminds me of, Soggy Paws, is it reminds me of the a bit of the conversation we had last week when I was saying that what's interesting too is they look for good looking. I'm sorry, they look for decent people. They look for moral people. And so those of us who are moral, who try your best to be the best you can, and who try your best to be good to other people, should realize that you are going to attract that type. You know, that is that yin to yang. You can expect to attract that type, because light attracts all kinds of things that you don't want to attract. Okay. Amy Johnson just came in. "Welcome to the ride, my baby." She said, "Excuse my tardiness. I took a nap." Well, at least you took your nap on the front end this time as opposed to the back end. So welcome to the ride. Welcome to the ride. Good to see you. So, Amy, we are talking about this. We're reloading from last week, right? Just for a little bit. Um, in terms of, hey, Megan, what's going on? Come on in here. Come on in here. Self-care is good, Amy. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So listen, Amy and Megan, we're going back a little bit to touch a little bit of what we talked about when we talked about being mind fucked last week and mind fucking. And I had a conversation with a couple people following that. They said we need a they said we need to have some kind of we need to have some kind of afterglow or something so we can go over this stuff. And I said, well, we can always do like a part two. And that's what we're doing right now. Because the conversation came up in a chat last week. Someone said that these narcissistic type people, these manipulators, these mind fuckers, actually target weak people. And after we talked about it, we wanted to dive down into that some more, to flesh it out some more. So my question at the top of the hour was, do these manipulators, do these mind fuckers do they actually look for people who are weak? That's the question. And I got a lot of really good responses so far. Soggy Paul said, I don't think they're always weak, but they are the yin to their yang, right? So she's talking about those opposites attracting, or I would say that light attracting darkness, right? Okay, so then D says, politicians and preachers, and this was this right here. Politicians and preachers and other emotional vampires target entire communities. The best ones are so good, you'll never know they're abusing and manipulating you. And I said, well, damn. Tanya Wallace said, it has nothing to do with weakness as much as it does with who you are personally. And a lot of times we need to ask ourselves, what is it Tanya, it was like you was here last week. What is it about me that I've even attracted this type of person to me? We talked about that last week. We talked about that in detail last night. One of the things came up was that whole thing about light and dark, and how the light, if you put a light on in your house or in your room, you can leave the door open to your house if you want to, and bugs and gnats and every sort of thing will be attracted to that light. And those who are, and I liken that light to those who are trying to be good, those who are trying to do the right thing, those who are trying to care for themselves as well as other people. So these people who are manipulators, who are looking for a mind to fuck, these people oftentimes are dark or at least hurt souls, right? And many times, and I'm adding this week, in many ways, the healing is in the light as well, right? Now, I'm not saying that means that we should go out here and look for, every Tom, Dick, and mind fucker. I'm not saying that. I ain't saying that at all. But I am saying that when you carry the light, there is healing in the light. So those who may be manipulating or may be operating in those caverns many times need healing too. They don't know that, but that's that yin. That's the yin to their yang, right? His or her yang, in my opinion. Whatever else you want to, anybody have another, anything else to add to that topic, please do so. That's some good information. Tanya, I wish you were here because you're so opinionated too. I wish you were here last week. I really do. But that's okay. You're here this week, and we're moving on to a couple other subjects too. So I'm sure you have something to add. Megan said, words. Sometimes I think for sure seek out what seems at the time to be some balance and stability, but it's not always like that when you snag a narcissist. Yeah. And sometimes those of us who are empaths or healers don't often know too that you are in search of something to fix, something to heal, something to nurture. Some of us are attracted to wounded people, but most of the time it's because if you are, it's probably because you're an empath. It's probably because God has given you that healing ability. You feel me? Tanya said, yes, when you have a healing spirit, you tend to attract dark motherfuckers. That's yes. Dark motherfuckers and dark mind fuckers. All the same thing. You absolutely right. It's true. It's true. Danielle said, yes, they're drawn to or look for someone who can fix, feel their broken parts, but they end up breaking others. Absolutely. Absolutely. Danielle said what Tanya said. Yes, that's what I was thinking. But exactly what Tanya said. They follow the light. Again, that is what we have to remember, that they follow the light. Because sometimes I think that we can get hard on ourselves, because like you saying, Tanya mentioned earlier, there is some of us or there is we see some of us in them, right? I do. Here's the other thing that let me add to that. Let me flesh that out a little bit. That's the yin and yang piece too. It's all convoluted in there together. But I think also that if you are not, if you are, if you are a light fixture, sometimes what's attractive is people that are more aggressive than you are, right? Who might be, which is why a lot of times I think women who are good girls, and the same for men who are good guys, are often attracted to the bad boy or the thought. I think that's part of it, because that's the yin and yang. That's a little bit of, maybe in this case, maybe not that I see myself in you, but maybe I see in this case I see something that I like in you that may not be in me, because again, we complement each other. So it all just runs together. It all runs together. But I do think it's important to know, first, to recognize it, to be able to recognize it. When you start getting older. I know Tanya and I have had this discussion before. As you start getting older, you start seeing things a little differently. You start doing things a little differently, and that makes for a world of difference. But as you get older, because you see things differently, you can see that thing coming down the street, and now, what it is, because you've seen it several times before, and you don't have to go that route. I also think that we should feel responsible enough to share that information, though, with someone who is younger than us, so as to hopefully help them avoid some of the same pitfalls that we found ourselves in. Okay, Tanya said, but we have to be careful with where we're at. I agree with that, but I want you to explain, so I know that we're on the same page. She said sometimes we have to be careful about where we're at. Explain it to me, Tanya. What do you mean by being careful with where we are? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Anyone else have any comment on this topic? Let me know. And if not, we'll move to another one very soon. But anything else on Mind Fucked Reloaded? Oh, see, I was thinking about spatially. You talking about something totally different. She said our state of mind, but we have to be careful where we are in our state of mind. Give me some more. Tell me some more. Teach, Miss Wallace, teach. We have to be in a certain state of mind when we are out and open for, I think, relationship, I think is what you mean, but you let me know. Or when we are open to hooking up, one way or another. Okay, Megan says she got some. Hold on. I'm holding my mule, Megan. I'm holding my mule. Let me know. Let me know. You all do me a favor. Meanwhile, please share the stream. Please share the stream with someone. You can either copy it and paste it into one of your social media sites, or you can share it with a copy and paste into it and share it with a friend. But please share the stream so that I can get these 1,000 subscribers before I leave for the motherland. And I appreciate y'all coming tonight. I sure appreciate you all. Okay, and Megan says she got something, so I'm waiting on you, Megan, and I'm waiting on Tanya. Let me know, and anyone else who has anything to go to that, and then we'll move on to the next topic. Hopefully, you all are having a wonderful week so far. What's up with that? Kind of hate to bring it up, but where y'all with the election? Where you at on that? How you feeling about this election? While we waiting on these, just let me know. How you feeling about the election? Oh, Lord Jesus. How y'all feeling about this her election? How it be? Let's be honest. Be honest. Who you think gonna win? Let me know who you think gonna win. What is your spirit telling you? Who is your spirit that's telling you will win this here election? Tanya said loneliness, lust. Mm. I always say if you see crazy walking down the street, why is he now laying on your couch? She said loneliness, loneliness, lust, etc. I always say, if you see crazy walking down the street, why is he not laying on your couch? Wait, that reminds me of my soror. My soror said one time, man, every time I think about it, this has probably been, God, it's probably been 8 years ago that she said this. But she said she was dating this guy, and her girlfriend asked her, "You still dating so and so?" She said, "Dooley, you remember this?" She said, "Hell no, I ain't dating that motherfucker no more. He ain't dragging his nuts across my couch. He ain't dragging his nuts across my couch." Man, I was laughing so hard. Oh, that was funny to me. All right, all right. So then Megan says, "I feel like once we can be cool with ourselves, I am single in my own. That's good. I'm single in my own place for the first time in my life, and we might be working on it. But whatever, buying myself flowers and having some candles, that's big, Megan. It means a lot. I know it does. It means a lot. I always tell. I remember I had a friend who was single and just did not want to be single. And he kept telling me he didn't want to be single. And I said to him, listen, take advantage of the time you have, because here's the thing. Here's the truth about life. Here's one thing that I will say to anybody, and nobody can negate it. And that is, nothing lasts forever. Nothing. Everything will change at some point in time. I don't care what it is, at some point in time, everything will change. So it is in your best interest to take advantage of what you have right now. And at that point, at that time, he had solitude. I said, take advantage of the solitude, because there will be one day, trust me, one day will come. And he wanted to be married, he wanted to have children and all that. I said, listen, take your time you have, because I guarantee you, there will be a day when you get what you're asking for, which is a wife and children. And when you get that wife and children, you're gonna say many a day, "Ooh, if I could just have a moment to myself. If I had just have a moment to myself." But in order to do that, you gotta be comfortable with yourself. So I think that's really big. I think you should enjoy your single time, because it won't last. It won't last, and you will. But there'll be some days you'll long for this day. You know. Yeah. D said, "I feel like drinking and praying." Well, whatever you got to do. Get you some wine. You know, Jesus drank wine. Megan said, laugh out loud. We got it. Feeling some kind of way about South Carolina and Montana. Yeah, me too. Me too. I hope we got it. We shall see. Megan, OMG, Megan, I'm adopting 2 kittens tomorrow. Oh my gosh, 2 kittens. The babies are gonna love that. You can't be right in a relationship if you can't be right on your own. Oh, that's good. That's right. I agree with that. 100%. I absolutely agree with that. You can't be right in a relationship if you can't be right on your own. Amen. Amen, sister. I believe that. Okay, last comments for Mind Fucked Reloaded. Any last comments, go ahead and put that in the chat. Danielle's talking about the election. She said 4 more years of this foolishness and I'm going to need more than wine. Girl, what you say? I keep thinking, I don't know. Of course, I hope that that Biden wins. I hope that. But the truth is, either way, whoever get in office, we in for some shit. Because if he remains in office, we already know what kind of shit show that's gonna be. And when Biden gets in office, he got to clean up all this shit, and this shit everywhere. And it's gonna be, if he gets in office, Trump is gonna do everything he can to make him miserable and to make us miserable because he wasn't reelected. So I just think it's a time to really be prayerful, because we just really don't know. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone for right now anyway, because I don't want to go low. I don't want to blow my high. So moving right along. Let's do this. We'll go ahead and we'll do our tea break first, our tea time first, and then take a quick little break. Y'all, I'm so excited about this new platform. I don't know what to do. So here we go. It is tea time. Tea. So here we go. I am drinking tonight Moringa tea. And please let me know in the chat what tea you're drinking, because we are in a pandemic, we are drinking tea for wellness, right? We're drinking tea for wellness because we understand and we realize that we need to take care of ourselves in any way that we possibly can. Anything we can do to build our immune system, that's what we're doing. So Moringa leaf tea is what I'm drinking. It's grown in Africa, Asia, Latin America. It is great for weight loss. Moringa is known to be rich in a number of essential vitamins and minerals, and it's also said to help mobilize stored visceral fat. 2, it's good for blood pressure control. Moringa tea, which is prepared from dehydrated and ground moringa leaves, is said to help in blood pressure control as well. This has been credited to the presence of quercetin, I think it is, quercetin in it, which is said to reduce blood pressure. Blood sugar control. Moringa leaves may also help people suffering from diabetes, as it contains the antioxidant chlorogenic acid, which is also present in coffee. Blah, 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 blah. It fights cholesterol buildup. Moringa oleifera may also help reduce levels of cholesterol. And finally, it has beauty benefits. The powerful antioxidant abilities of moringa mean that it may also help improve quality of your skin and hair by fighting inflammation and oxidative stress in the body. Antioxidants may help keep toxins at bay and potentially clear the skin. So that is Moringa leaf tea. Please let me know what kind of tea you're drinking tonight. And I do have a little something in my tea tonight, so I'm going to share that with you, but you know what's going on with that. So I'm drinking, ain't nothing like a little Crown Royal bag, right? So I just added a little vanilla Crown Royal to my tea tonight. Because why? Because the baby's asleep. It's the hump day. It's the hump day wind down. And I can do what I want. All right, so Megan Casey says she's drinking Rooibos. AKA African Red Bush. Exactly. It's naturally pretty sweet tasting, not caffeinated. I do have some Red Bush. I like Red Bush tea. And I got turned on to Red Bush tea watching. I don't know if you saw this, Megan, or anyone else. Hey, Trace, what's going on? Tracy just woke up. Tracy, we are just finishing the Mind Fucked Reloaded. So you're just in time to go on to the next topic. But I started drinking red bush tea after watching the series that Jill Scott was in called The Number One Ladies Detective Agency. If you haven't seen that, Megan or anybody else, I'm sure you would like it. And just well, I don't think anybody on here wouldn't like it. It's a really good series. They only did 6 episodes, and then she got pregnant, and that was the end of it. But it is a really good show. Tanya said, as much as I love, I'm not willing to compromise my peace for it. My single time is mine. In the meantime, I'm working on me in regards to the election I voted. That's it. I kind of feel like, be careful. I kind of feel like in terms of that, I think it was Larry Reed who said he's he said I'm voting for Biden because he ain't Trump. Because I really don't want to vote at all. I'm just not even happy with the choices. I second that emotion. I really do. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving right along. So let me give you a little bit of, we did tea time. All right, so we are moving on to intermission. So we got just a minute or so. So this is your break. Refresh your drink if you need to. Add you some Crown Royal vanilla if you need to. And we will get started again in about 60 seconds. All right. Let me know that you can hear me, please. Let me know if you can hear me by typing something in the chat. And we are moving on to the next topic. I'm trying not to wait a minute. Okay, awesome. I was just about to check it myself. Okay, thank you very much, Megan. I appreciate that. Okay, so do me a favor, please. Share the stream with someone. Help me get to that 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate that. Okay, so our next topic is a new one, but still kind of stems off what we did the other day. So we did our tantrum first. No. I'm sorry. We did our topic. Wait a minute. What did I do? We had topic, tantrum, and tea. Yep. Okay. We did it's the Crown Royal. I put too much in there. I know what it is. All right. So we did our topic. And now we're going to do we get ready to talk about this right here. What do you value? Let me open it up for here we go. What do you value in a life partner? That's our topic. That's right. That's our topic. And we just did our tantrum. This is our topic. Got it. Got it now. Got it now. I got it. Okay. All right. So here's our topic. What do you value in a life partner? This also came from a discussion that came out of what we talked about last week. I'm telling you, I have some good texts and emails and calls once we get off these here Zooms. I mean, I'm off these live. So this topic came out of from a friend of mine who was dating a guy, right? And she told me that when she first started talking to him about being serious, they kind of having a talk about being serious, and she asked him about his values, right? Because they're not 20 years old. They're most of my friends are near my age. I don't have kid friends, and so she asked him what he valued, right? Because they're old enough to make to have some real conversations, and his answer was real shallow. He actually said something like he likes it when his women are affectionate. That's it. No more. That's it. And it sparked a whole conversation that we had about what are the values? What do you particularly value in a life partner? I, of course, because I often think about this, I, of course, thought about this is another conversation that could be had among several generations. And if not, definitely a conversation that a younger generation should be able to hear, right? Because if we knew, again, if you were, when I was younger, if I knew what to value, what was most valuable when you talked about making a life partner or choosing a life partner, I wouldn't have made the choices I made when I was young, right? So the first question is very simple. And you can maybe type up to, I don't know, one to three things. But the question is very simple. What do you value in a life partner? When you're looking at someone for the possibility of spending the rest of your life with them, what things, what traits do you value? Anybody can answer. The floor is open. What do you value? Okay, Megan says, yeah, that's nonsense. It's important to be on the same page with values. Otherwise, it will just come up later when the stakes are higher. It's important to be on the same page with values. Otherwise, it will just come up later when the stakes are higher. That's true. That is actually absolutely true. So, okay, so Megan, if you were looking at someone for a relationship, we know your values should be similar. But what particular value? Give me one, two, or three. What values do you think would have to exist between you and that person? Soggy Paul said they need smarts. What does smarts look like? I mean, what kind of? I could be smart in, what does that look like? I could know how to fix a car, but don't know shit about managing my money. What kind of smarts? What kind of smarts? Some folk are book smart. Some people are street smart. What kind of smarts is it? What kind of smarts are necessary for you? And that's for everybody. What kind of things? What do you value in a life partner? What is most valuable to you? I think it's a great question for um, some of us who are married. It may make us, My, I guess what I'm saying is this. Let me not say that because I don't want to offend anybody. I think we could all benefit from thinking about it, whether you're married, single, um, whatever, male, female. What do you value? What is valuable to you? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna add mine right here. At least my number one, and it comes off of from experience, right? I shared some of this with you. I'm gonna tell y'all a story today. I was just thinking about something. Yeah, this got me lit. I can't even spell. I'm looking at this on the red line is letting me know you ain't spelled that shit right. Okay, Saki Pa said being evenly yoked. I want to know what that means too. I've heard that. I was taught that. As a 50-year-old though, I was when I was taught it, it meant spiritually, right? Let me just say this. Let me say this. Let me say this, Soggy Pause, and you'll know exactly what I mean. I remember when I was in the church, I was raised in the church, right? Tracy's ass. She drinking Tracy tea. What is that? I was raised in the church, and we were always told that you should be evenly yoked, right? Don't be unequally yoked. And for us, that meant don't marry a man who wasn't saved, right? What and you could assume wasn't in the church and was saved. Is that what you mean, Sarky Pause? That's what I was taught, right? But as a 50-year-old woman, I realized that I was in church with a whole lot of men who were not equally yoked with me. And when I say that, I mean I was in church with a lot of men that were doing all kinds of stuff that didn't have nothing to do with God, right? So now my idea of being equally yoked or unequally yoked looks different than it did when I was sitting in church and they were teaching me that. Okay? Okay, so I said integrity, but somebody remind me to tell y'all a funny story about integrity in my own relationships. Okay, Tanya said, I value communication, honesty, and also time for myself. Oh, yeah, Tanya, that's good. Tanya, what is your birthday? I think I know, but or no, did you just have a birthday? Let me know. Okay, Soggy Paul says respect. Absolutely. Tracy, what is Tracy T? Megan says, I would say racial and gender equality. I'm half Arab, and there is some problematic stuff there for sure. I'm trying to work it out with Sean, but who knows? I'm just trying to be cool for now. Racial and gender equality. That's interesting because typically Arab men are a lot like African men. And they have to learn gender equality because they don't really know it for the most part. That's interesting. Soggy Paul says spiritually, I can't be praying to Christ and he's praying to a Rick. Okay. Okay. That's enough for me. I mean, that explains it to me. Soggy Paul said rock. Rock. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, to a rock. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. Tanya Wallace said 50 is different, baby. It hit different, don't it, Time? It hit real different. The manifestation of a rebirth is what I'm calling it. Oh, I like that. August 6th. Okay. The manifestation of a rebirth. Wow, I like that. Saki Pauls, the men you are referring to were just going to church, not living the life of Christ. That's true, but how about this though? They was pastors and preachers. but you're right, they weren't. Let me tell you something that came from the conversation I had today. We were talking about intuition or yeah, we were talking about, let me just say that. We were talking about intuition. And we were talking about the fact that I personally believe, many of you have probably heard this, I personally believe that God gives, I believe that he speaks to all of us. But when you talk about intuition, I think that's what intuition is. It's God speaking to you. That's what I think it is. But I think that God has a special anointing. He gives a special anointing to women that he doesn't necessarily give to men. Does he speak to men? Absolutely. But I don't think that he speaks to men as much as he speaks to women. I just don't. I just don't. I think that women's intuition is something that cannot be parallel to anything else. So that intuition, I believe, is God speaking to women, to woman. Why that's the case, I don't know. But there are a lot of things that we can't explain. I think it is what it is. So I was having a conversation earlier today about the fact that that is something that I would like to teach, that I would like to eventually begin to teach intuition to women, particularly, because we all have it. We're born with it, but we don't always trust it, don't always know how to utilize it, and what came up today, which was interesting, is the woman I was talking to said, "Well, I don't really trust mine because I've been so hurt. It's been damaged, right? And so I don't really trust it." And then I got to thinking about this. I thought that is really interesting because most of us learned to use that intuition, or a lot of us did, in church. But at the same time, the kind of abuse and manipulation, and what did Danielle call it, vampire something, the manipulation that came out of the church, the same place where you might learn to use that intuition, that is the exact same place where they abused you and damaged it in a way that you probably don't even trust it anymore. Now, that didn't happen in every church, but it happened in a lot of churches. So it's interesting that that very gift, where they probably, in many cases taught you to use it, also broke it for you. And now you got to figure out how to get it back. Isn't that something? Okay. Okay, so I can pause. It still applies to the preacher too. Yeah, it does. Megan says, "Yes, Miss Vicky, we have the power to create life." Absolutely. Absolutely we do. We're so much more powerful than we realize that we are. I do believe that. I absolutely believe that. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's go back. Let me go back to, so we got integrity, we got value, communication, honesty, and also time for myself. Tanya, I thought that was really important. Really important, because a lot of times when women are not in a relationship, or in a fixed relationship, or a marriage, or whatever it is, some kind of permanent or semi-permanent union, they don't realize that there will come a time you still want that me time, kind of like I was telling Megan a minute ago. And so going in, it would be great if that is a value that's discussed going in too, that I have to have time for myself. Because if not, then your mate may have some kind of insecurity about you having that me time, and I just asked you about your birthday, because I'm a Sagittarius, and that's one thing I found over the years, that Sagittarii, is that what it is? Or Sagittarius is whatever, value. And that is, even though they like to be around people, they love to be, mingling and mending and all of that, there's time that they just have to get away. And that's me. That's me. That's me. 8:29. So what does that make? What does that make you, Megan? What's your sign? Okay, so integrity, communication, honesty, and also time for me. Respect. Soggy Paul said, and Tracy still ain't told us what Tracy T is. Okay, so these are the things that you value in your partner. So let me tell you a quick story. When we talk about, okay, Virgo. This is a funny story. I'm going to try to make it short. Some of y'all already know it, but in terms of integrity, I told you all that one thing I noticed and I realized was that I kept attracting people that were extremely dishonest with me. These men were just extremely dishonest, and I had to, that's when I did a self-assessment. As Tanya mentioned, when I had to step back and say, okay, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on in me that I keep attracting these kind of men, right? Okay, so one of these men. I was dating this guy, right? I was at Wayne State at the time. Some of y'all who know the story already laughing. I can't tell the whole story because it's too damn long. But I'm gonna get to the tail end because that's the funny part anyway. It's funny now. It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now. Okay, so I was staying in an apartment at Wayne State, and he was not living with me, but in and out. You know how they do. He had his own apartment, but he was in and out of my place. I worked in daytime, and I went to school full time, so I was home in the evening. I kept having these dreams, right? And in a dream, he was put a pillow. He was putting a pillow over my face. And if not a pillow over my face, it was always in a dream. It was always something that he was going to hurt me. But in a dream, it was physical, right? And we didn't have that kind of, he didn't put his hand on me. None of that shit. But I kept having these dreams where he was going to do something, or he was doing something that would hurt me, right? After having several of them, it dawned on me that it probably wasn't physical, because we didn't have physical issues like that, but that he was going to hurt me in another way. Okay? Danielle is laughing already because she already know what I'm getting ready to say. Now, one day, he had his favorite meal. His favorite meal was salmon and rice. I remember this. So this particular day, he said, I feel like some salmon and rice. I'm like, man, you always feel like salmon and rice. What the fuck you talking? Anyway, he says, I feel like some salmon and rice. He said, I'm gonna make some salmon. I said, okay, no problem. So he's in the kitchen, and I'm working on a paper or something. He in my kitchen cooking salmon and rice. Somebody knocks on my door. No, nobody knocks on my door. My phone rang. I pick up the phone, and it is, let me see what time it is, because I'm trying to keep this to a minimum. So I pick up my phone because the girl at the desk, real cool with me, always called me and let me know what was up, or just was very helpful to me. So she called me, she said, Miss Vicky. I said, she said, there's a woman on her way up to your apartment. I said, huh? She said, there's a woman on the way up to your apartment. She said she asked me, were you in, what was your apartment number? I think it was, she said. She said, and I said what it was before I thought about it. She said, so I'm calling to tell you, I apologize, but there's a woman coming to your apartment. I said, okay, no problem, So she comes to the door and she knocks on the door. So when I pull the door open, she's standing at the door, and she's a pretty lady and pretty girl, because we're both about, I don't know, 30-ish, a little less than 30 maybe. I was 30, so she might have been maybe about 28. Anyway, she comes to the door, and she said, before she could say anything to me, she was going to say to me, no, she said to me, she said, and I'm going to give him another name. No, I ain't. I don't give a fuck. She said, is Damon here? Well, before I could ask her or anything, he has come up behind me. And when she say, is Damon here? I turn around and I look in his face. I say, you here? She says, I knew it. I knew he was playing games with me. I knew it. I'm looking at him like this. I ain't said nothing to her, because here's the thing about me. I don't give a damn about no woman that's in a relationship or in some shit with somebody I'm involved with. The way I see it is this: she don't owe me shit. You owe me, because you are the one who made the promise to me, not her, right? So I don't get into that. I'm not, what that bitch is at? No, I'm not doing all that. I ain't doing any of that, because I don't owe you nothing, and she don't owe me nothing. So when she said to me, is Damon here? I turned around to see, was he here? Is you here? Are you here? Oh, she's going off. I told, what? First of all, he like a deer caught in headlights, right? His eyes are this big, and he's a tall guy, so he's looking at me like this. I'm looking at him like this. She's taller than me too, because she looking at me like this. I said, I turned around, I look at him. He's talking about something. He know what to do. So finally he says to her, I told you not to come here, bitch. I told you not to come here. Didn't I tell you not to come? I said, what the? When I turned around, to look at him cussing her out, he looked at me. I just walked right around his ass, went right around him, went to the kitchen to get a pot, right? Because it was right behind him. And when I came back toward him, he was like, no, no, no. And then I thought about, oh, I'm losing her. So listen. One thing, oh man, I'm losing her. So I pushed past him because I want to talk to her. I don't want to hit her or nothing like that, but I want to talk to her because I know she got a story to tell, right? If anybody come to my apartment like that and you don't know who I am or what I'm dealing with, you got a story to tell. So I leave the apartment. I brush past him. This is the scene. She see me coming out of the kitchen area with a pan. She takes off running down the hallway. She's running down the hallway. I'm behind her with the pan saying, you ain't got to go nowhere. No. You don't have to go nowhere. He's behind me saying, don't listen to nothing that bitch say. Don't listen to her. She's crazy. Don't listen to nothing she say. So the whole while, and it was a long hallway, she's running first. I'm behind her with a pan saying, you ain't got to run. Don't run. No, don't run. She said, no, no. And he's saying, Vicky, come back. Don't listen to nothing this bitch say. She crazy. Don't listen to nothing this bitch say. You talking about some bullshit. I get to the elevator and she is flying, running from me because she probably think I'm about to attack her with a frying pan, which it wasn't for her. It was for him. I just remembered that she was getting away and I wanted to talk to her. So it was just looked crazy. All right. So by the time I get to the car to take you up and down, I say, you ain't got it. She says, no. She said, I gotta go. I can't. And then I think she saw in my eyes that I wasn't about to do nothing crazy. I think that's what it was. And she looked at me. She said, no, I can't. And she says, my baby's in the car. Mind you, I've been dating this guy a year and a half. She says, my baby's in the car. I said, your baby? She hit that button so fast because I think she thought for sure this bitch is going to lose it on my head, and I wasn't going to do that. Got my wits. I turned around. His ass was standing there. Vicky, let me explain. Let me explain. It ain't what you think. Just let me explain. Tanya said, chasing her with a pot was crazy. Let me explain. I promise you. I ain't said nothing to him because that's enough. I don't need more than that. That's enough for me. I walked back into my apartment with him trailing behind me. Wait a minute. Just let me wait, baby. Wait. I just walked him back to the apartment. I did not attack him with that pan like I planned to because I started to. But then I decided I wasn't going to do that. Walk back to the apartment. I told him, go home. Or wherever you're going to go. You got to leave here. No, wait a minute. He goes, what? I don't have to tell you how that go. It's not what you think. Get your shit. Get your grip. And get the fuck on. All right? I was lucky enough to have enough of his clothing in my apartment that I was able to put in the incinerator. So that made me feel much better. The girl at the desk who loved me, when I came down with what I had, she looked at me and she said, Miss Vicky, I was just about to turn the incinerator on. And I said, well, thank you so much because I was just going to ask you to turn the incinerator on. So I put his shit in the incinerator. And long and short of that story was the girl came back. So I know she knew. You know, she saw in my eyes that I wasn't gonna do anything to her because I put his ass he out. He was not allowed to come back anymore, right? But let me tell you what happened. So I'm gonna tell you two things. I'm telling you about integrity. Tanya, that shit was funny. I'm telling you, but that's why I can laugh. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've told this story to people because it's funny. Anyway, I'm telling you about integrity and the fact that he didn't have none. But I'm also telling you about this intuition thing that I'm talking about. Because the Lord showed me in a dream over and over, at least 3 times, of him hurting me. It just wasn't physical, right? It wasn't physical. She came to my apartment that next morning early. It was almost before, it was before, it was right after daybreak. Eyes bloodshot. And he wasn't there because I put his ass out of there immediately, right? Get your shit, nickel. Get your shit, nickel. She came there, eyes bloodshot red. And I know she looked at me and knew, that she saw a sister in me. That's really what it was. I know what it was. And when I opened that door, the bags under her eyes were this thick. And she said, "Can I come in?" I said, "Yeah." She came in, she sat down, and she wept like a baby. And she said to me, basically what it all came down to was she said, "I've been in a relationship with Damon for almost 3 years." My mouth was like, I said, "What did you say?" When I tell you this guy was attentive, I mean what I say. Attentive enough anyway for me because I'm a busy woman, right? I was going to school full time. I was working part time. I was doing my own thing too. I had my own friends. I was, doing my own stuff. Come to find out, he was just living double lives in a way that he could. This is what the deal was. The deal was he was basically living with her. Now he had his own apartment though, but he was basically living with her during the daytime and with me at night. And he was able to figure it out so that neither one of us missed it because she worked nights. I was a full-time student and I worked in the daytime. So the evenings were mine, right? That was my time. I was home in the evenings and he was there every day that I got home. Not only did I find that out in the conversation, I also found out, and listen to this, that he was physically abusing her. That could have been what I saw as well. He was physically abusing her. Not only was he physically abusing her, he was taking her money because his ass, I thought he was working. His ass wasn't working hardly at all. He was taking her money and giving it to me to pay my rent. But I'm saying all that to say, my intuition told me something was wrong. In that conversation that I had with her sitting on my couch, she said to me, "I kept dreaming that he was lying to me. I kept seeing it in a dream." I said, "I believe you." She said, "I kept seeing it." She said, "I kept seeing him go somewhere. I kept seeing him go into a door, and I knew there was a woman behind the door, but I could never see nobody in it." And so I asked her, "How did she find out about my apartment or whatever?" She said, listen to this. She said, "Because I've dropped him off at his apartment." Listen to me. She said, "I've dropped him off at this apartment a number of times, countless times." She said, "He kept telling me that his aunt lived in his apartment, but she was sick and wouldn't allow nobody else up here." Is that some bullshit or what? That's what you call a mind fucker. When that girl got through crying, because she was crying, She was a mess. Oh, come to find out, the baby wasn't his though. The baby was hers from a previous relationship, and the baby really was a big kid. Well, I mean, it's still a baby for her. Baby was, I think, 8 at the time, so it's her baby. But she did tell me that he was beating her. She did tell me. I mean, because you know how it is when you if you've ever been in a situation where you actually got to talk to the other woman, then you're able to the hindsight is 2020. You start putting two and two together, and the pieces all come together, which is how we realize what he had done and how he had pulled this off. And anytime I got on his ass, because again I found out that he wasn't hardly working at all. But anytime that I got on his ass and said, "You better bring some money up into this," then he go impress her and make her pay, give him money to bring and pay my rent. All right, that's the end of that story. But I will tell you how it ended though. That was the last time he spent any time in my apartment or with me. But I'm gonna tell you, when that girl left it, she told me, "I can't let him go." She said, "I can't let him go." She said, and then she said to me, "He stayed with me last night when he left here. You wouldn't let him in." I just put my head down. I mean, I feel sorry for her. And I said to her in that conversation, I said, "Well, I'm going to tell you this, baby." I said, "I'm going to pray that you get the strength that you need to do what you need to do for you and your baby." I said, "But if you going to keep Damon, you ain't got to worry about me. You don't. You don't." I said, "So, but I'm going to pray for your strength because you're going to need it. But if you worried at all about him coming to me, you ain't got to worry about that. He ain't coming over here." So that's that. Ain't that some shit? Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. And we gonna so what I value, let me just add that. What you said all that, what I value is integrity. I value integrity. I absolutely value integrity. Um, and communication is good too, except it's got to be real, authentic. You feel me? You feel me? Because folks say a whole bunch of shit that don't mean nothing. But communication is absolutely good. I do agree with that. Okay, come on, y'all. Give me your thoughts on my my little story, and then I got one more question for you about value and life partners, and then we will move on to the final topic of tonight, or our tea. We pour our little tea for the night. Please do me a favor while you are. I'm assuming some of you might be typing. Please do me a favor and share the stream. Share the stream so we can get other people in on our conversations. And tell me about your tea. I only heard who said only one person drinking tea, and that was Megan doing her tea, and Tracy said that she is doing the Tracy tea. I think she talking about that Turkey Hill lemonade or something like that. Tracy said love, respect, and the truth, period. Absolutely, absolutely. So my thought is, you said your friend needs some strong love. You talking about the girl that was crying? She, if that's what you talking about, she really did. I really did feel sorry for the guy. I can almost remember her name, but I feel like it was Dee Dee or something like that. But I really did feel sorry for her. I prayed for her. I really did. I don't remember if I prayed for her that night in her face. I don't remember, but I definitely prayed for her. I feel like I did. I think I prayed for her in her presence. I think I did. Because she was in bad shape, you know? She was in bad shape. Bad shape. And she ain't, that happens, That's how we got to support each other. I think it's sad how with all that was going on in their relationship, she actually needed to find out if he was cheating on her. Wow. Yeah. But Tanya, they go back to that thing that where we don't trust our intuition, because clearly God was giving her what he was giving me. I just knew. And what I did when I started seeing it in the dreams, like I said, I thought it was physical. And I started watching him like, you try to come over here, I'm gonna cut you in your sleep. So I'm thinking to myself, right? Because it was physical. I was like, I started, but it wasn't physical. At least it wasn't for me, right? She did all of that to stay in it. Yeah, she did. And as far as I know, let me tell you this real quick. But see, this should have been for me. This should have been for me. When he had 2 children when I met him. He had 2 children. And I remember that that any time that I saw that baby's mother, the baby's mother, he had two boys. Anytime I saw the boy's mother, because I would be at his apartment and she would drop him off or come pick them up. And I remember that any time, right, discernment, we need to use it because we got it, right? Any time that she had to look in his face, I'm talking about the boy's mother, I saw the most disgust I've ever seen in her face. And I remember he'd be talking to her, trying to, work out the arrangements, and she would be like, go on, whatever, Damon, just whatever. Y'all get out, go and get out the car. It's like she couldn't stomach him, like he made her ill, you know? And I saw that like 3 or 4 times. That should have been my red flag right there. That should have been all the flag that I needed. Because that girl act like she could, I'm thinking, I was younger, right? I'm thinking, she got just upset because, it didn't work out the way she wanted to, or, I don't know, maybe he's not the best father she wants him to be or something like something. I just figured it was, woman stuff. I didn't think about the fact that how much disgust was in her face. She didn't even want to look at him. She didn't even I remember that. She was like, and it wasn't like, and I sensed this part then, though. It wasn't jealousy. I knew it wasn't jealousy. It was disgust. It was complete and utter disgust. She did not want to be breathing the same air that nigga was breathing. That's what it boiled down to. That should have been that should have been all I needed then. I shouldn't need the Lord tell me nothing. Because the Lord should have been saying, your eyeballs tell you all you need to do. Don't ask me shit. Of course, God wouldn't say that, but. Okay. Okay, yes, discernment. Actually discernment. That's exactly what we need. Okay, so here's my last question on this topic, unless you all have something that you want to add. My last question is, what do you bring to the table? What is the best, what is the best trait? What is the best characteristic do you think in your mind that you bring to your own relationship, or you're going to bring, or you have to bring to your relationship? What is your best quality? Because it's easy to take something from the table, but we should be bringing something too, right? What is your best quality? Let me know. Let me know. Tanya, you laughing at me. Seriously, sometimes God, I know he be thinking, why you don't need me for that? Security, being able to adapt. Oh, that's good. Adaptability is definitely good. And security, that's good. Um, I'm about to be a little silly, but it's true though. I was watching I was watching I just saw a message coming. I'm sorry. I was watching Ayanna Van Zant the other night, and one of the mothers was clearing up some stuff with her sons and her daughter as well. But what Ayanna said to her, "What you need," I mean, she said to the mama, "What they need is them bosoms. They need them bosoms." Which my daughter said, "What?" I'm telling you, I bring bosoms, right? I bring bosoms to the table. I explained to my daughter, I said, it's not just the breast, it's spiritual. It's not just the meat, right? It's spiritual. Women bring nurturing, they bring healing in their breasts, in your bosom, right? In your bosom. That's why God gave us the ability to feed our children from your bosom. That's why if your mate is in the worst, possible space, if he get an opportunity, just lay in the bosom, that's where he want to be, right. So I bring bosom. That's one of my best qualities. Bosoms. Exactly, Megan. Who doesn't need bosoms? Exactly. um I'm thinking what I think my best quality is. I think it, for me, She said she's still cuddling her mom. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It is, it's the cradle of everything. You know? It really is. The cradle of everything. I think my best quality for a relationship. And you all join you all let me know what yours is too. But I think that my best quality for a relationship is probably I would probably say I'm trying to think of the best word to articulate what I mean. It's probably hmm, I think it's mercy. I think it's mercy. I think. And I'm saying that because I think because I have the ability, and I will look beyond a lot of what you do because I recognize and understand how much we function out of past experiences, right? And I don't think a lot of time people don't take those things into consideration. You just moving along with whatever's going on at the time, at the moment. So there may be a better word to explain what I mean, but for right now, until I get a better word, or one of y'all give me a better word, then it's probably going to be mercy or grace, maybe. I think that'll be for me. So let me ask you all one more question, and then we will really move from this. Because this came from the conversation that started this whole conversation. In the if there was a woman, let's say that the woman or a man, 50 years old, a man or woman, what things do you think an unmarried woman or man, either or, doesn't matter, an unmarried woman or man, what do you think? What would you say they should be looking for in a mate? What do you think? What one or two things that you think they would probably find important? Let's put it like that. One or two things that a 50-year old would find important, would value in a life partner. One or two things that a 50-year-old would value in a life partner. I'm asking that because in the conversation that we had, the man who said that he valued intimacy was a grown ass man. Um, Tracy said, "Girl, bye." D said, "I bring self awareness, integrity, loyalty, and a really good therapist." Self awareness. That's a good one. That's a good one. D. That's a good one. That's a really good one, especially at our age. Because if you don't have any kind of self awareness, and you 40, you 50 years old, and you in deep shit. That one is very important. Self awareness. That's extremely important. Of course, loyalty is too. Of course, Megan said, "I think someone who reads the newspaper every morning." Someone who reads it. Well, at least we know they are learning. They're on a continuum, a learning continuum. That's for sure. Anybody else? Anybody else? We'll take another 1 minute on this topic, and then we will take a quick break and move on to the final tea. We'll pour this tea on that damn Umar Johnson. We're gonna pour some tea on Umar and be done. His ass. Who? Umar's ass. I don't know if y'all keeping up. Let me move this because I know that's probably getting in y'all ear. I don't know if y'all have been following Umar Johnson, but his ass. Going once, going twice, going 3 times on this last topic. What do you value in a life partner? All right, moving right along. Do me a favor, share the stream so we can get more people into the conversation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for hanging out today. Tracy, what is up with you? Who you girl buying to? What you girl buying about? Let us know. Let us know. All right, so here we go. Let us move on to this last topic, and that would be this gentleman right here. Now, I don't know if you were here for when I first did this story on Umar Johnson, but he was the first topic I think that I ever did. So if you don't know anything about Umar Johnson, let me give you a little bit of a background. So Umar Johnson is a self-proclaimed school psychologist. He says that he's that at one time, and it looks like he probably did, that he studied school psychology, and he is a self-acclaimed, I guess you could say, professional in terms of special education in Black boys, and he's written a couple books about special education in the Black community, or I'm sorry, special education as it refers to Black boys in the school system. He also says that he calls himself Dr. Papa, which is the Prince of Pan-Africanism. He has a zillion names for himself, like King Kong Consciousness, the Prince of Dr. Papa, Notorious RBG. He has a litany of names, of self-aggrandizing names that he's created for himself. But this is what I can say about Umar Johnson. Quick recap. When I first learned of him, I learned of him on YouTube and from my brother who has a special needs child. So because he has a special needs child, he asked me what I knew about Umar Johnson. I said I don't know anything about him, but because Umar Johnson is supposed to be an Afrocentric Pan-Africanist, and he says he's an activist, he assumed I knew something about him, but I didn't know anything about Umar at the time. But I started looking him up, and it sounds like he was doing some big work at one time for Black boys in special education in terms of making sure that they receive the proper tools needed for schooling and what have you, and making sure that they weren't railroaded, them and their parents weren't railroaded by the system. At least that's what it appeared to be his aim or his focus. So that's what I knew of him. What I can say for sure is that when my brother was looking for help and he was watching and listening to Umar's YouTube videos, that Umar actually did actually call him back, because he gives out his number and says, if you have any questions, so on and so forth, I'll be willing to talk to you. Here's my number, 215, blah, 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 blah. And my brother called that number, and Umar actually did answer that number, and he actually had a conversation with him and gave him some information that he needed to help his child that he wouldn't have known otherwise. Now, if you watch his YouTube stuff, Umar does that for a lot of people. He does it all the time. He gives that number, and sometimes he takes live calls. But of course, since he is who he is, there has been a lot of questions about the fact that Umar also has raised a whole lot of money for this school behind him right here that he's calling, that is called the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. That's what he calls it. And the money that he has collected, saying that he wanted to buy this school and he wanted to redo this school, has been quite a bit, a lot of money. Okay, a lot of money, but nothing has happened. He actually broke ground on the school. I believe it was in 2019, early 2019. You all can check out I did a whole video presentation on this stuff, and it's on my YouTube list. So if you wanted to find out more information about it, you can check that out. However, point is, people started bringing him to task. YouTube vloggers and so on and so forth started bringing him to task about the fact that he's collected over $1 million, likely, and that school that he purchased and open in 2019 still isn't up and running. And it may have even been 2018 that it still isn't up and running. And so all of YouTube out here in these YouTube streets, there has been a lot of conversation about whether or not Umar Johnson is a fraud and is not really the guy that he says he is, because all that money he's collected, he hasn't at all done anything with this school, with the exception of maybe some, you know, nothing really, you know. And he's had a opening date probably 5 or 6 times. You know, we're gonna open in August, you know, this date, and we're gonna open in September of this date, and of course, and this is way before the pandemic, and shit ain't opened yet. So there's been a lot of question about whether or not Umar Johnson is actually who he says he is, in terms of, is he really someone who is looking to open a school for children, or is he someone a scam artist who has decided that he would use the artifacts that he has to be a scammer and to scam people in the Black community? So that's where the other video kind of goes off. Is he or is he not a scam artist? You know, because the Black community needs to know. That's really where the video I did just stops. Well, since then, which is quite interesting, a lot of YouTubers have taken Umar Johnson to task about all of that money, and the fact that school is still sitting in the same place, and he's still begging for money every day, right? He's on YouTube. He's moved from his name and created King Kong consciousness, because everywhere you see his name on YouTube or on the internet, just about, there is some negativity attached to it. So now his YouTube channel is like King Kong consciousness or something like that. But since so many YouTubers are taking him to task, this is the funny part right here. I mean, a lot of them. Everywhere from, there's a woman named Anti-African Svengali. She's probably one of the first that's been riding his ass for a long time. Everything that he does seems like she is right on him and telling the people, because she says that he is a fraud. He's a scam artist, and we need to get him locked up, put away, or whatever it is. But he needs to be taken down so that he can stop snatching money off the community, off a community who cannot afford to give him any money. Because most of his donors, of course, seem to be young single mothers, right? Somehow, although Anti-African Svengali has been on him, although Lennon Honor is another man that does 2-3 hour spreads on YouTube. I mean, on bosom, y'all funny, on Umar and his, escapades or whatever. There's another guy named Make a Change. His channel is called Make a Change on YouTube, and Make a Change brings receipts with all the shit he does, right? Lennon Honor has created an entire documentary that's a good documentary. Very detailed, plenty of receipts about what he has not done, even though he said he's going to do it. All with receipts, dates, and the whole thing. It's a fabulous documentary. Fabulous documentary. But for some reason, all that they've done have not stopped Umar Johnson from doing what he's done. All he does is he continues to argue. He gets on YouTube and he says, "Oh, y'all haters, y'all my haters. Y'all just haters. But I'm still gonna do it." Then he goes immediately into, "Send your donations to Cash Stop, blah 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 blah, Umar, blah 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 blah." He gives you all this, and he got PayPal, and he's got Zelle, and he's got, and many of those platforms he's been kicked off of more than 1 or 2 or 3 times, because there's been allegedly some thought of possible fraud. But this is what's happened as of lately, in the past couple weeks or so. All of these YouTubers that have sucked onto him or attached themselves to him to try and get him this stuff, nothing. It's almost like somebody who's playing on a football team. It reminds me of, and how everybody is trying to get the guy with the ball, and he's dragging him on the legs, but he's still going. They hanging on his legs, they hanging off his jersey, but he's still going. And he's going to get to the finish line, and everybody's mad and screaming, and he's doing the dance. It's been kind of like that. They cannot get this guy down, even though all the information is there, the receipts are there. His following has been such that he can continue to go. But just as of recently, as of late, for some reason, Umar decided that he was going to interview with, he doesn't do a lot of interviews unless, he doesn't seem to do many interviews unless he knows that he's going to do well on the interviews. But somehow, for some reason, he thought that he could interview with this guy right here, who goes by the name Lord Jamar. He interviewed with Lord Jamar a week or so ago, and Lord Jamar took him to task. I don't know why he thought, because this guy is a pretty, kind of laid back, but at the same time, an aggressive interviewer. So I don't know why he decided he would interview with this guy. But Lord Jamar tore Umar a new one in a nice, nasty way. He really didn't, he really wasn't even angry or he wasn't very aggressive with him. But what he did do is take him to task and hold him to the questions that he asked. So he wanted to know, how much money have you actually collected? What have you, who is your team? Very basic questions that Umar Johnson has not answered. Who is your team? Who is your board? What is your ETA, for having this school actually up and going? All kinds of questions that are simply weren't major questions, basic questions, but they've never been answered because Umar Johnson is so slippery. Talk about mind fucking, right? He's so slippery that people aren't able to hold him down. But Lord Jamar got a hold to his ass. About a couple weeks ago, y'all need to find some of these videos so y'all can laugh. He did exactly what we've been talking about. He got angry because that's kind of what narcissistic types do. When you hold their feet to the fire, when you ask details and there's nowhere for them to go, they get angry. It's almost like an animal, like a caged animal. He got angry. He started attacking Jamar. Jamar never lost his cool. He just kept asking the questions. And then when he got through asking him questions, he started giving him the name of somebody who had done what he claimed he wants to do in a fraction of the time that he's done it, and said, I can give you his information because he's willing to speak with you to help you get your train on the track, basically. Umar had a fit. He just started, he was like an angry animal. But what's interesting to me about it is, from this point on, ever since this right here, Umar Johnson has been at that school doing some shit that he ain't never did. He's got donors out there painting. They inside rearranging stuff. I mean, it's a whole new focus that he didn't seem to have before. So it seemed to have taken somebody like a Lord Jamar to get in his ass, to get his ass moving. So the question still remains now. Let me say this. The question still remains, because this was my question from the video I'm telling you that I did earlier. The question was, is he or is he not a fraud? I still don't think we have a definitive answer as to whether or not he's a fraud, because he still could open this school, right? It's interesting though. Now we're in a pandemic. I don't know who in the world who's going to school. But he's got to pull this to a close at some point, right? Or some way. But the verdict is still out. That's my point. The verdict is still out on whether or not he's a scam artist, because we got time. He still can pull it off the school. But what is interesting is we saw no movement until Lord Jamar got in his ass. No movement at all. No movement at all. So check it out. Check out what you can on this story if you're interested in it. And again, the guy's name is Lord Jamar, who is, a seasoned interviewer, definitely. But it's really a funny video to hear him stick it to Umar with a hot poker and never come up. Never let him come up for air. It's absolutely wonderful. So you all can, look into that if you can. I mean, if that interests you. And if not, don't worry about it at all. But I am glad that you all came by tonight. If you have any thoughts on Umar Johnson or any information on Umar Johnson, go ahead and put it in the chat and we can chat about that very quickly. And if not that, then our time is up. And I am very thankful, super thankful that you all came through tonight. As I said earlier, if you could, please do me a favor and share the screen with someone who'd be interested in hanging out with us. I appreciate you all coming and spending your time because I know you could be somewhere else on this Wednesday night, but you're here with us, giving your opinion, talking and laughing, have a great time. Let me check out this chat room before I go too. Let's see, because I know I missed some stuff. Danielle said she brings self-awareness, integrity, loyalty, and a really good therapist. Megan said, I think someone who reads the paper in every morning. Tanya said, when that time comes, I'll be bringing completion. Oh, wow. Because since last year on my 49th, my resolution was loving myself correctly, and I'm still on it. I love that, Tanya. I love that. Tanya, I keep saying, you know what I'm ready to say. When I was doing the evolutionary she, which it ain't over. I just haven't done one lately. I need you to speak. I keep telling you, keep trying to act like you don't remember I said that. I ain't forgot that I said that. I need you to speak because I know you got some knowledge, and you won't be sitting around with your mouth like this. Yeah, I know you got something to say. And then she says, or should I say wholeness, because I'm doing the work. Oh, Ayala said, do your work. But even with all of that, he's needed, of course. And bosoms. Yeah, you got some tatas too, boo. Okay, she said he still may be a little fraudulent, but I'm going to check him out. Yeah, I'm telling you. Love you to life, Vicky. I love you too. I really do. I love all y'all to life. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming by. Listen, make sure that you share the stream, as well as if you have any more comments, add them. Don't, just because we're not off don't mean you can't add them. Anything else you have to add it. We can continue the conversation. And if you have anything that you'd like to discuss, send it to me at info@VBTouray.live. That's info@VBTouray.live. I love y'all too. Looking forward to seeing y'all hopefully next Wednesday night. And let us know what you're drinking. Don't forget about that. Umar being a fraud is not up for debate. Why do people rock with this clown? I think because he's such a silver-tongued devil, Tracy. That's what I think. I think that he is, I hate to say it, but I think that he is who we've been talking about. I think he is that mind fucker. I believe that that's who he is. I don't think that he's any different. Honestly, I don't think that Umar is any different than a lot of these fake ass pastors and preachers. He's got the same gifts, the same giftings, right? And he's got the gift of gab. And he easy on the eyes too. Don't forget that. He's easy on the eyes. He's a good looking man. They be ragging on him, on those videos and stuff because they mad at him. But Umar's a good looking guy. And he got a silver tongue. And he's articulate, and he's intelligent. He ain't stupid at all. So you wrap all of that up in a package. You better be, as Tanya said, you better be using your discernment or you will get got. And people, and the other thing too though, Tracy, is a lot of people don't want to be responsible for themselves. Umar come with that whole community thing. Like his concern is helping the community and really caring for the community. It's like that pastoral gift is the same shit. Which is, I shouldn't say that because a real pastoral gift is a blessing. So I'm not, but that's that whole fake ass, pastor or pimp. They're all the same giftings. It's all the same gift, right? So they don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to be, So it's easy to let somebody else be responsible for you. And I think that's how and then the other thing, remember I said to you, a lot of his supporters and followers are single black women. It's just like a pastor. It's just like a pimp. It's the same stuff. It's that whole idea that somebody's caring for me, which, we all want somebody to care for us, but we got to have that self-love that Tanya's talking about. But if we don't, we're not self-aware, we get caught up in shit like that. It's sad. Tanya said, definitely Sharon, so glad I was off. I am too, Tanya. I am too. Red Moscato, and is that green tea? Is that what that is? Red Moscato and green tea? So I pours a little Southern Comfort or a little Crown Royal in my tea. Make it taste better. Y'all have a wonderful night. Love you, love you, love you. I will see you all soon. Check out my last 2 cards for you. I got a little bit of other information for you as we sign off. Have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of the week. And don't let this that shit with Biden and Trump get to you too bad. Try to pull away if you can. Pull out if you can. Have a great night. Love y'all much. I despise Umar more than Trump. He's screwing his own people. Umar more than Trump. That's hard, baby. More than Trump. Oh, Tanya, yes. Now I see. Yeah. She said, no, not no green tea, green leaves, baby. I love it. Yes. Enjoy yourself. Yes, absolutely. Because we is grown ass women. You feel me? Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. And check out my cards. A little bit of music before you go. Just a little. Thanks for hanging out with 3T. Now, you can help us build this platform by simply taking a moment to like, share, comment, and subscribe.